Hey everyone, and welcome back to Pink English.
Hi, everyone. We are so excited to learn with you today.
I'm Sophia, and this is Daniel, and our goal is to make English easy and fun for you.
Exactly. If you enjoy our lessons, please hit the like button and subscribe. It really supports the channel.
Today, we're talking about your job.
We will practice listening, learn keywords and phrases, and boost your confidence. Ready? Let's dive in.
I am so excited for this topic, Daniel. Talking about work is one of the most common conversations in the world. It is usually the first question people ask when they meet someone new. They say, "What do you do?"
That is true. It is almost automatic. Hi, my name is Daniel. Nice to meet you. What do you do? It's a way to understand who the person is. But honestly, sometimes I find that question a little bit stressful.
Why do you find it stressful?
Well, sometimes your job title is complicated, or maybe you are between jobs. It can feel like a lot of pressure to have an impressive answer. When I was younger, I worked in a coffee shop. I loved it, but I always felt like people expected me to be a doctor or a lawyer.
I completely understand that. There is a lot of social pressure around our careers, but every job is important. Working in a coffee shop teaches you amazing communication skills. Actually, my first job was babysitting. I had to watch three very energetic children. It was exhausted, but it taught me patience.
I bet it did. That sounds harder than being a CEO. You know, the way we work has changed so much recently, too. 10 years ago, everyone went to an office. Now, so many people work from home, or they're digital nomads traveling the world with just a laptop.
That is a huge shift. The traditional 9 to 5 schedule is not the only option anymore. Oh, that's a good phrase for our listeners, 9 to 5. This refers to the standard working hours in many countries, starting at 9 a.m. and finishing at 5 p.m.
I used to work a 9 to 5 job. I liked the routine, but I missed the sunlight in the winter. I think that's why discussing jobs is so interesting. It covers money, routine, lifestyle, and even our dreams. Everyone has a different relationship with their work.
Absolutely. Some people work to live, meaning they work just to pay the bills so they can enjoy their free time. Others live to work, meaning their career is their main passion and focus in life. Neither is wrong, they're just different perspectives.
I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I love what I do here at Pink English, but I also love my weekends.
Me too, Daniel. Balance is key. Speaking of what we do, we need to help our listeners build the vocabulary to describe their own professional lives. We have a lot of ground to cover today, from getting hired to the daily routine.
That sounds like a plan. I think we should start at the very beginning. You can't have a job without getting hired first.
You are right. Let's imagine our listener is looking for a new opportunity. The first step is usually finding a listing and applying.
So, Sophia, walk us through the first major concept we need to know when we're looking for work.
The first essential word is vacancy. Let's spell that together. V-A-C-A-N-C-Y. Vacancy.
V-A-C-A-N-C-Y. Vacancy. What does that mean exactly?
A vacancy is an available job or position that is empty and needs to be filled. If a company is looking for a new manager, they have a vacancy for a manager. You might see a sign in a window that says "Help Wanted," or you might see a post online saying "Current Vacancies."
Okay, that makes sense. So if I see a vacancy that I like, I become a candidate?
Exactly. That's our next keyword, candidate. C-A-N-D-I-T-A-T-E. Candidate.
C-A-N-D-I-T-A-T-E. Candidate.
A candidate is the person who is applying for a job. I'm Sophia, and this is Daniel, and our goal is to make English easy and fun for you.
Exactly. If you enjoy our lessons, please hit the like button and subscribe. It really supports the channel.
Today, we're talking about your job.
We will practice listening, learn keywords and phrases, and boost your confidence. Ready? Let's dive in.
I am so excited for this topic, Daniel. Talking about work is one of the most common conversations in the world. It is usually the first question people ask when they meet someone new. They say, "What do you do?"
That is true. It is almost automatic. Hi, my name is Daniel. Nice to meet you. What do you do? It's a way to understand who the person is. But honestly, sometimes I find that question a little bit stressful.
Why do you find it stressful?
Well, sometimes your job title is complicated, or maybe you are between jobs. It can feel like a lot of pressure to have an impressive answer. When I was younger, I worked in a coffee shop. I loved it, but I always felt like people expected me to be a doctor or a lawyer.
I completely understand that. There is a lot of social pressure around our careers, but every job is important. Working in a coffee shop teaches you amazing communication skills. Actually, my first job was babysitting. I had to watch three very energetic children. It was exhausted, but it taught me patience.
I bet it did. That sounds harder than being a CEO. You know, the way we work has changed so much recently, too. 10 years ago, everyone went to an office. Now, so many people work from home, or they're digital nomads traveling the world with just a laptop.
That is a huge shift. The traditional 9 to 5 schedule is not the only option anymore. Oh, that's a good phrase for our listeners, 9 to 5. This refers to the standard working hours in many countries, starting at 9 a.m. and finishing at 5 p.m.
I used to work a 9 to 5 job. I liked the routine, but I missed the sunlight in the winter. I think that's why discussing jobs is so interesting. It covers money, routine, lifestyle, and even our dreams. Everyone has a different relationship with their work.
Absolutely. Some people work to live, meaning they work just to pay the bills so they can enjoy their free time. Others live to work, meaning their career is their main passion and focus in life. Neither is wrong, they're just different perspectives.
I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I love what I do here at Pink English, but I also love my weekends.
Me too, Daniel. Balance is key. Speaking of what we do, we need to help our listeners build the vocabulary to describe their own professional lives. We have a lot of ground to cover today, from getting hired to the daily routine.
That sounds like a plan. I think we should start at the very beginning. You can't have a job without getting hired first.
You are right. Let's imagine our listener is looking for a new opportunity. The first step is usually finding a listing and applying.
So, Sophia, walk us through the first major concept we need to know when we're looking for work.
The first essential word is vacancy. Let's spell that together. V-A-C-A-N-C-Y. Vacancy.
V-A-C-A-N-C-Y. Vacancy. What does that mean exactly?
A vacancy is an available job or position that is empty and needs to be filled. If a company is looking for a new manager, they have a vacancy for a manager. You might see a sign in a window that says "Help Wanted," or you might see a post online saying "Current Vacancies."
Okay, that makes sense. So if I see a vacancy that I like, I become a candidate?
Exactly. That's our next keyword, candidate. C-A-N-D-I-T-A-T-E. Candidate.
C-A-N-D-I-T-A-T-E. Candidate.
A candidate is the person who is applying for a job. If 100 people send in their applications for one job, there are 100 candidates. Your goal is to be the best candidate so they choose you.
That is a lot of competition. To be the best candidate, you need to show them your history. In the United States, we usually call this document a resume, but I know in the UK and other places they call it a CV.
Yes, in the UK, we say CV, which stands for Curriculum Vitae. But for international business English, both are understood. Let's focus on the word resume. R-E-S-U-M-E. Resume.
R-E-S-U-M-E. Resume. Note that the pronunciation is resume. To resume means to start again, like resuming a movie, but a resume is the document.
Excellent point, Daniel. Pronunciation is very important there. Your resume lists your education and your experience, but it also lists your qualifications. This is a long word, but it's very important. Qualifications. Q-U-A-L-I-F-I-C-A-T-I-O-N-S.
Wow, that is a long one. Let me try. Q-U-A-L-I-F-I-C-A-T-I-O-N-S. Qualifications.
Qualifications are the official records of achievement that show you are trained to do a job. This could be a university degree, a special certificate, or a license. For example, to be a doctor, you need medical qualifications. You can't just walk into a hospital and start working.
That would be very dangerous. So on my resume, I list my experience and my qualifications. But Sophia, I often hear people talk about skills. Is that the same thing?
Not exactly. Skills are the things you can do. We usually divide them into two categories: hard skills and soft skills.
I love this topic. Hard skills are the technical things, right?
Correct. Hard skills are teachable abilities that are easy to measure. For example, coding in Python, speaking Spanish, or operating a forklift. These are hard skills.
And soft skills are more about your personality and how you work with others.
Yes. Soft skills include things like communication, teamwork, problem solving, and adaptability. Nowadays, many companies actually care more about your soft skills than your hard skills. They can teach you how to use their software, but they can't easily teach you how to be a nice person or how to lead a team.
That is so true. I would rather work with someone who is friendly and willing to learn than someone who is a genius but very rude.
Me too, Daniel. Now, once you send your resume with your qualifications and skills, who reads it? Usually, it's a recruiter.
Recruiter. Recruiter.
A recruiter is the person whose job is to find new people to join a company. They look through all the resumes to find the best candidates. If the recruiter likes your resume, they will invite you to an interview.
The interview. This is the part that makes everyone nervous. Interview. Interview.
Interview. An interview is a formal meeting where they ask you questions to see if you are right for the job.
I have a funny story about an interview. Once I was so nervous that I forgot my own phone number when they asked for it. I just sat there in silence for 10 seconds. It was terrible.
Oh no, poor Daniel. That happens to the best of us. That is why preparation is key. In an interview, they often ask about your strengths and weaknesses.
Strengths are things you are good at. Weaknesses are things you struggle with. A classic trick is to make your weakness sound like a strength, like saying, I care too much about my work, or I work too hard.
Be careful with that, Daniel. Recruiters can usually tell when you are not being honest. It is better to be genuine. For example, you could say, sometimes I struggle with public speaking, so I am taking a class to improve it. That shows you are honest and proactive.
That is great advice. Being proactive means taking action to solve problems before they happen. Recruiters love that. Okay, so let's say the interview goes well. You crushed it. You answered all the questions perfectly. What happens next?
Hopefully, they give you an offer. This is when they formally invite you to take the job. They will tell you your salary and your benefits.
Salary is the money you get paid, usually calculated by the year. Benefits are the extra things like health insurance, extra vacation days, or maybe a gym membership.
Exactly. And if you agree to the salary and the benefits, you sign the contract and you are hired. You have successfully navigated the job hunt.
That is a great feeling. But getting the job is only step one. Once you sign that paper, the real work begins.
That is right. The transition from being a candidate to being an employee brings a whole new set of vocabulary. We need to talk about what happens when you actually walk through those doors on your first day.
Or log into your computer on your first day if you're working remotely.
Very true. Let's explore the daily life of a worker.
So imagine it's Monday morning. You have your new job. What is the first thing that happens? Usually for a new employee, there's a process called onboarding.
Yes, that is a fantastic word. Onboarding. Onboarding. Onboarding.
Onboarding.
Onboarding is the process of integrating a new employee into the organization. It involves training, meeting the team, setting up your email, and learning the company culture. It helps you get on board or join the ship.
I like that image, joining the ship. During onboarding, you'll meet your team. We call the people we work with our colleagues. Colleagues. Colleagues.
This is a tricky spelling, so let's take it slow. Colleagues. Colleagues.
You might also hear the word coworkers, but mean the same thing. These are the people you interact with every day. Having good relationships with your colleagues makes work so much better.
I agree. We are colleagues, Daniel, and we get along very well.
We make a great team. But besides colleagues, you'll also have a boss. In a professional setting, we often use the word supervisor. Supervisor. Supervisor.
Supervisor. Supervisor. This is the person who watches over your work and gives you instructions. You report to them.
Okay, so you have your colleagues and your supervisor. Now you have to actually work. One of the biggest parts of any job is managing your schedule. For many people, this involves a commute.
Ah, the commute. Commute. Commute.
Commute. Commute.
Your commute is the journey from your home to your place of work. It could be a 20-minute drive, a 1-hour train ride, or a 5-minute walk.
In big cities like London or New York, the commute can be really long. Some people commute for 2 hours every day. That's a lot of time sitting on a bus or train.
It is. That is why remote work is so popular now. If you work from home, your commute is just walking from your bedroom to your living room. But even if you don't commute, everyone has to deal with a schedule.
Right. Some people work a standard shift. S-H-I-F-T. Shift.
S-H-I-F-T. Shift. A shift is a set period of time that you work. This is very common in hospitals, factories, and restaurants. You might work the day shift, the night shift, or the early morning shift.
My friend is a nurse and she works the night shift. She sleeps all day and works all night. It's very hard on her body. But sometimes, even if you have a set schedule, you have to work more. We call this overtime.
Overtime. Overtime. Overtime.
Overtime. Overtime.
Overtime is time worked in addition to your regular working hours. In many countries, if you work overtime, you get paid extra money.
But not always. In some salaried jobs, you're expected to finish your work even if it takes longer than 8 hours. This usually happens when you have a tight deadline.
Oh, that is a scary word. Deadline. D-E-A-D-L-I-N-E. Deadline.
D-E-A-D-L-I-N-E. Deadline.
A deadline is the latest time or date by which something should be completed. For example, if your boss says, "I need this report by Friday at 5 p.m.," that's your deadline.
I'm terrible with deadlines. I always wait until the last minute. I'm a procrastinator.
Procrastination is dangerous in the workplace, Daniel. It causes a lot of stress. When you have too many deadlines and too much work, you can experience burnout.
Burnout. B-U-R-N-O-U-T. Burnout. This is a very serious topic. Burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. It's when you just can't work anymore because you're so tired.
It is very common these days. That's why work-life balance is so important. You need to take breaks. In the office, we often take a coffee break or a lunch break to recharge.
I think the lunch break is the best part of the day. It's a time to relax and maybe chat with your colleagues about things that are not work-related.
Exactly. We also have meetings. M-E-E-T-I-N-G-S. Meetings.
M-E-E-T-I-N-G-S. Meetings.
Meetings are when people come together to discuss work. But honestly, Sophia, sometimes meetings are too long. As the saying goes, this meeting could have been an email.
I've definitely been in meetings like that, but they're necessary for collaboration. Collaboration means working together to create something. When the collaboration is good, you feel a sense of accomplishment.
Accomplishment. That is a great positive word to end on. It means the feeling of achieving something successfully. When you finish a big project, meet a deadline, or solve a hard problem, you feel accomplishment.
And that feeling is why many of us go to work every day. It's not just about the money, it's about feeling useful and capable.
We have covered so much vocabulary already, from the vacancy and the candidate to the commute and the deadline.
We have. We've built a really strong foundation of words. But words are just the bricks. Now we need to learn how to build the house. We need to see these words in use in real fluid conversation.
That's right. It's time to see these words in action. I think we should create some scenarios to help our listeners understand exactly how to use this vocabulary in context.
I agree. Let's move on to some role plays. This will help you hear the rhythm and tone of professional English. Are you ready to do some acting, Daniel?
I was born ready, Sophia. Let's show 'em how it's done. Great! For our first scenario, we are going to act out a job interview. This is a very formal situation. I will play the hiring manager, and Daniel, you will play the candidate applying for a job as a marketing specialist.
Got it. I am the candidate. I will try to be professional and polite. I am a little nervous, but I am ready.
Being nervous is normal. Just take a deep breath. In this scene, pay attention to how Daniel introduces himself and how he talks about his past experience. Action. Good morning, Daniel. Thank you for coming in today. Please have a seat.
Good morning, Sophia. Thank you for inviting me. It is a pleasure to meet you.
The pleasure is mine. We have reviewed your resume, and we were very impressed with your background. To get us started, could you please tell me a little bit about yourself?
Certainly. Well, I've been working in digital marketing for the past 5 years. I started my career at a small startup where I learned how to manage social media accounts and create content. For the last 2 years, I've been working at a larger agency focusing on email marketing campaigns. I'm really passionate about using data to tell stories and connect with customers.
That is excellent. We are looking for someone who can handle data. Can you tell me about a specific challenge you faced in your last role and how you handled it?
Yes, absolutely. Last year, we had a major project with a very tight deadline. The client wanted to launch a campaign in 2 weeks, but we usually need 4 weeks. My team was stressed, and we were worried about the quality.
That sounds stressful. How did you manage that situation?
I organized a quick meeting to prioritize the tasks. We decided to focus only on the essential parts of the campaign first. I volunteered to work some extra hours to ensure the graphics were ready on time. In the end, we launched on the scheduled date, and the client was very happy. It taught me the importance of teamwork and clear communication under pressure.
That is a great example. It shows you can problem solve. Now, I have to ask, what would you say is your greatest strength?
I believe my greatest strength is my adaptability. In marketing, trends change very fast. I enjoy learning new tools and strategies. I'm always taking online courses to stay up to date. I don't get frustrated when things change. I get excited.
Adaptability is very important here. On the other hand, what is a weakness you are working on?
Honestly, sometimes I can be a bit of a perfectionist. I spend too much time on small details. However, I'm learning to balance quality with efficiency. I now use a timer to make sure I don't spend too long on one task.
That is a very self-aware answer. Finally, Daniel, why do you want to work for our company specifically?
I have followed your company for a long time. I admire your commitment to sustainability and ethical business. I want to work somewhere that aligns with my values. I think I could really bring a lot to the table here and help you grow your green initiatives.
Thank you, Daniel. That's great to hear. We'll be in touch soon.
Thank you for your time, Sophia. I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day.
And scene. Great job, Daniel. That was a very solid interview. You sounded very professional.
Whew, thank you. Even though we were acting, my heart was beating fast. It really felt like a test.
You handled it perfectly. Now, listeners, did you catch some of the specific phrases Daniel used? There were some excellent expressions in there that can help you sound more native.
I tried to use phrases that show confidence. One phrase I used at the end was bring to the table.
Yes, that is a classic business idiom, to bring something to the table. Let's spell table. T-A-B-L-E, table.
T-A-B-L-E, table.
The idiom bring to the table means to provide something useful or beneficial. When Daniel said, "I think I could bring a lot to the table," he meant that he has skills and ideas that will help the company. He's offering value.
Exactly. You can use this in a team meeting too. You could say, Sarah brings a lot of creativity to the table. It's a nice compliment.
Another great word you used was prioritize. Let's spell that. Prioritize. Prioritize.
Prioritize. Prioritize.
To prioritize means to decide which tasks are the most important and do them first. In the interview, Daniel said he had to prioritize tasks because the deadline was short.
This is a huge buzzword for managers. They love hearing that you can prioritize.
It shows you have good time management. I also use the word align. A-L-I-G-N. Align.
A-L-I-G-N. Align.
I said, I want to work somewhere that aligns with my values. This means to match or to agree. If your values align with the company, it means you believe in the same things.
That's a very sophisticated way to answer the question, why do you want this job? It sounds much better than just saying, I need money.
Definitely. Always try to connect your personal goals with the company's goals. One more thing I noticed. When I asked about your weakness, you used a very clever strategy. You mentioned a weakness, perfectionism, but then you immediately explained how you're fixing it.
Yes, that's the trick. Never just say, I'm lazy or I'm always late. That will lose you the job. You must show that you are trying to improve. We call this being self-aware. SELF-aware.
SELF-aware. Self-aware. This means you understand your own character and feelings. Employers love self-aware candidates because they're easier to work with.
So that was the interview stage, but let's imagine I got the job. Hooray!
Hooray! You are hired. Now we need to fast forward a few months. You are now an employee. We need to practice a different kind of conversation.
The first day conversation?
Actually, let's go a bit deeper. The first day is usually easy, just smiling and saying hello. I want to practice a status update meeting. This is a very common scenario where you have to tell your boss about the progress of your work.
Oh no, these happen all the time. Sometimes they are called check-ins or stand-ups.
Exactly. In this scenario, I will be your supervisor and you will be the employee. But there's a problem. You are behind schedule.
Oh no, I hate being behind schedule. This is going to be awkward.
It's important to learn how to deliver bad news professionally. You cannot lie, but you also don't want to look incompetent. You need to manage expectations.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm the employee, I'm late with my project, and I have to tell my boss. Action.
Hi, Daniel. Do you have a moment? I wanted to touch base regarding the quarterly report. It is due on Friday. How is it coming along?
Hi, Sophia. Yes, I have a moment. I am glad you asked. I was actually just about to send you an email about that.
Oh, is everything okay?
Well, to be honest, we have hit a bit of a snag. I have finished the data analysis, but I am still waiting for the sales figures from the New York team. Without those figures, I cannot complete the final section of the report.
I see. That is concerning. The deadline is very strict because we have the board meeting next week. When do you expect to get the figures?
I emailed the New York team this morning, and they said they are finalizing them today. I should have them on my desk by tomorrow morning.
Okay. If you get them tomorrow morning, do you think you can still finish the report by Friday?
It will be tight, but yes, I plan to focus on the report exclusively for the next 2 days. I might need to delegate the social media update to someone else so I can clear my plate. Would that be okay?
That sounds like a good plan. I can ask Sarah to handle the social media for this week. I appreciate you giving me a heads up about the delay.
Thank you, Sophia. I appreciate the support. I will keep you in the loop as soon as the data arrives.
Please do. Let's aim to have a draft on my desk by Friday afternoon, even if it isn't perfect.
Understood. I will make it happen. Thanks, Sophia.
And scene. Good work, Daniel. That was a tense situation, but you handled it very well.
I felt the pressure. It is hard to tell your boss that you are waiting on someone else. I didn't want to blame the New York team, but I had to explain why I was late.
You did it perfectly. You didn't complain, you just stated the facts. And importantly, you offered a solution. You suggested delegating another task.
Right.
I asked to give the social media work to someone else. This is called delegating. D-E-L-E-G-A-T-I-N-G. Delegating.
Delegating. Delegating. This means giving a task to someone else to do. Good leaders know how to delegate, but in this case, you needed to delegate so you could focus. You used a great idiom there. Clear my plate.
Yes, to clear my plate. Imagine a dinner plate full of food. The food is your work. If your plate is too full, you cannot eat it all. To clear my plate means to finish or remove tasks so I have space for the important work.
It is a very visual idiom. We also use the phrase to have a lot on my plate.
That means I am very busy. I can't come to the party. I have a lot on my plate right now.
Exactly. Another phrase you used in the role play was touch base. I used it at the beginning. I said, I wanted to touch base.
Touch base. Touchbase.
Touchbase. This comes from the sport of baseball. In business, it means to make contact or to talk briefly with someone just to get an update. It is not a long meeting, it's just a quick check-in.
It is very casual but professional. Let's touch base next week. It sounds friendly.
Then you used a funny little phrase, hit a snag, S-N-A-G, snag.
S-N-A-G. Snag. A snag is a hitting obstacle or a sharp part of a tree that catches your clothes. In business, hitting a snag means encountering a small, unexpected problem. It's not a disaster, just a small problem.
It is a great way to soften the bad news. If you say, we have a disaster, your boss will panic. If you say, we hit a snag, your boss stays calm.
Language is all about psychology. I also promise to keep you in the loop.
Yes, the loop. L-O-O-P, loop.
L-O-O-P, loop. To keep someone in the loop means to keep them informed. Imagine a circle of people sharing information. If you're in the loop, you know what is happening. If you're out of the loop, you don't know anything.
Bosses hate being out of the loop. They always want to be in the loop.
So, the lesson here is if you have a problem, tell your boss early. Give them a heads up.
Heads up. H-E-A-D-S-U-P. A heads up is a warning or a notification. Just a heads up, I will be late tomorrow.
It is polite and helpful. I think these phrases, touch base, hit a snag, in the loop, heads up, are used in almost every office in the English-speaking world.
They really are. If you master these, you will sound like a native speaker immediately. It changes the feeling of the conversation from a textbook lesson to a real relationship.
And that's what work is, really. It's relationships. You have to negotiate with people.
Speaking of negotiation, that's another huge part of work. Asking for things.
Oh, the scary stuff. Asking for more money?
Sometimes, or asking for a promotion. A promotion is when you move up to a higher position. Promotion. Promotion.
P-R-O-M-O-T-I-O-N. Promotion. Everyone wants a promotion, but you have to earn it.
You do. And usually that involves a performance review. This is a formal meeting that happens once or twice a year where your boss evaluates your work.
Those can be stressful too. It's like getting a report card in school.
A little bit. But it's also a great opportunity. If you've been doing a good job, you can use the performance review to ask for a raise. R-A-I-S-E. Raise.
R-A-I-S-E. Raise. A raise is an increase in your salary. I got a raise is a very happy sentence to say.
It is. But be careful. In British English, we often say pay rise instead of raise. But in American English and international business, raise is very common.
Good distinction. So, Sophia, we have covered the interview, and we have covered the daily struggle of deadlines and updates. We've even touched on promotions.
We have covered the serious side of work. But work isn't just about tasks and bosses. It's also about the people sitting next to you.
The social side, the water cooler talk.
Exactly. The water cooler is a symbolic place in the office where people stand around and chat about their lives. Even if you don't have a physical water cooler, every workplace has moments of socializing.
And that can be tricky for English learners. You don't want to be too formal, but you don't want to be too casual either. You can't talk to your colleagues the same way you talk to your best friends at a party.
That is a very fine line. We need to talk about what is appropriate to say and what is not. There are certain topics you should probably avoid at work.
Like politics?
Definitely like politics and religion, and usually personal financial problems. These are considered taboo or inappropriate in many English-speaking workplaces.
So we need to keep it light. We need to master the art of small talk.
Small talk is huge. It's the glue that holds the office together. Asking about the weekend, talking about the weather, discussing sports or movies. It seems unimportant, but it builds trust.
I used to hate small talk. I thought it was a waste of time. But then I realized if I don't do it, people think I'm cold or unfriendly.
Exactly. If you only talk about work, you seem like a robot. You need to show your personality.
So we need to teach our listeners how to navigate these social situations, how to excuse themselves from a conversation, how to ask polite questions, and how to participate in office culture.
That sounds like the perfect next step. We have the job, we're doing the work, now let's make some friends.
Or at least friendly acquaintances.
Yes, friendly acquaintances. Before we move on to the social rules, let's quickly review the office jargon we just learned in the role plays. Jargon means special words used by a specific group of people.
We learned bring to the table, touch base, hit a snag, in the loop, clear my plate.
We learned bring to the table, touch base, hit a snag, in the loop, clear my plate.
If you use these 6 phrases tomorrow at work, I guarantee your colleagues will be impressed.
Try it. Pick one and use it in an email or a meeting. Just wanted to give you a heads up. It feels good to say.
It does. Okay, are you ready to take off your tie and relax a little bit? Let's talk about the culture of work.
I am ready to relax. Let's get social. That is the spirit. Socializing at work is actually a very specific skill. It is not exactly the same as hanging out with your friends on a Saturday night. There is a word for the set of rules we follow in professional social situations. It is etiquette.
Oh, that is a fancy French word. E-T-I-Q-U-E-T-T-E. Etiquette.
Etiquette. Etiquette. It means the customary code of polite behavior. Business etiquette tells us that we should be friendly, but not too personal. For example, in many English-speaking cultures, especially in the US and UK, there is a very big unwritten rule about money.
Yes, you almost never ask a colleague exactly how much money they make. Asking, "What is your salary?" is considered very rude. It can make people feel uncomfortable or jealous.
Exactly. Salary is a private topic. However, it is very common to bond over shared complaints. This is a strange part of work culture. We call this venting. V-E-N-T-I-N-G. Venting.
V-E-N-T-I-N-G. Venting. To vent means to let off steam or express strong emotions. If you had a bad day, you might say to a colleague, "Can I vent for a minute?" It implies you just need to complain to feel better. You don't necessarily need a solution.
It's a great way to build a friendship. You might complain about the printer always being broken or the coffee in the break room being terrible. These small, shared negative experiences actually bring people closer together. It creates a sense of us against the problem.
That is so true. The worst coffee creates the best friendships. Another huge part of work culture is the concept of networking. N-E-T-W-O-R-K-I-N-G. Networking.
Networking. Networking is the action of interacting with others to exchange information and develop professional or social contacts. It sounds very formal, but it can be simple. It just means meeting people who might help you in your career later.
You might do this at an office party or a conference. But networking can be awkward. What if you're stuck in a conversation with someone boring and you want to leave? You can't just walk away.
No, you cannot. You need an exit strategy. You need a polite excuse. A classic one is the refill. You simply hold up your empty cup and say, "I'm going to grab a refill on my coffee. Please excuse me."
That works every time. Or you can blame the work itself. You can say, "I would love to chat more, but I really need to get back to my desk and finish that report." It shows you're responsible, not rude.
Exactly. Another common phrase for ending the workday is call it a day.
I love that phrase. Let's call it a day. It means let's stop working for now and go home. You can say this to your team if you're the boss,
or to yourself if you're working alone. I'm tired. I'm going to call it a day.
It is very useful. Also, be aware of the Friday feeling. In English-speaking offices, Friday afternoons are usually a bit more relaxed. People are excited for the weekend. You might hear the acronym TGIF.
TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. It is a very famous expression. It captures that relief you feel at the end of a long week.
So, Daniel, if you're at an office party, remember, keep the conversation light, avoid asking about money, feel free to vent a little bit about the coffee, and have a polite excuse ready when you want to leave.
And don't forget to smile. Smiling is the best soft skill you can have.
Absolutely. Well, Daniel, speaking of calling it a day, I think we're reaching the end of our lesson. But before we go, we have covered a massive amount of vocabulary today.
We really have. My brain is full. I think we should do a rapid review. Let's do a vocabulary masterclass. We'll pick the 10 most important words from today's episode and define them one last time to make sure they stick.
That is a great idea. Repetition is the mother of learning. I'll start with number 1. The first word is vacancy. VACANCY. This is an open job position that needs to be filled. If there is no vacancy, there is no job.
Number 2 is candidate. CANDIDATE. This is the person applying for the job. You're a candidate until you get hired.
Number 3 is resume. RESUME. This is the document that lists your experience and education. It's your ticket to get an interview.
Number 4 is onboarding. ONBOARDING. This is the process of integrating a new employee into the company. It's the training you get in your first week.
Number 5 is commute. COMMUTE. This is your journey to and from work. Whether it's by car, bus, or train, it's the time you spend traveling.
Number 6 is deadline. DEADLINE. This is the final time by which a task must be finished. Don't miss your deadlines.
Number 7 is burnout. BURNOUT. This is physical or mental collapse caused by overwork or stress. Avoid burnout by taking breaks.
Number 8 is procrastinate. PROCRASTINATE. This means to delay or postpone action. It's when you watch cat videos instead of working.
Number 9 is delegate. DELEGATE. This means to entrust a task or responsibility to another person. Good managers delegate to keep the workflow moving.
And finally, number 10 is promotion. PROMOTION. This is when you advance to a higher rank or position. It usually comes with more money and more responsibility.
10 powerful words. If you know these, you can handle almost any conversation about employment.
I feel smarter already. But Sophia, we cannot leave without asking our listeners the question of the day. We want to hear from you in the comments.
Yes, we love reading your stories. Today's question is, what is your dream job? If you could do any job in the world and money was not an issue, what would you do?
Oh, that is a good one. Would you be an astronaut, a painter, a teacher, or maybe a professional sleeper?
I think being a professional sleeper would be nice for a week, but I'd get bored. I think I would still want to be a teacher. I love what we do here at Pink English.
Me too. It's the best job in the world. So please write your dream job in the comments below. Practice using full sentences. For example, my dream job is to be a pilot because I love to travel.
We will try to reply to as many comments as possible. And remember, learning English is a job too. It takes consistency, patience, and effort. But unlike a normal job, the payment is a new world of opportunities.
Beautifully said. You are the CEO of your own learning journey. You are the boss.
Thank you so much for tuning into this long episode. We hope it helps you feel more confident the next time someone asks, "What do you do?"
If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend or colleague. It really helps us grow the channel.
And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a lesson. We have many more exciting topics coming up.
I'm Daniel.
And I'm Sophia.
Keep practicing, stay curious, and we'll see you in the next lesson.
Bye for now.
See ya.